And we are live. Here comes the intro. You're listening to the Grow Clinton podcast. Grow Clinton is a 501c6 nonprofit economic community development and tourism organization based in Clinton, Iowa. For more information, visit growclinton.com. Again, that's growclinton.com. Now, back to the show. What's happening, all you amazing listeners out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast, brought to you by Grow Clinton, a small nonprofit economic development, community development, and tourism organization located in the eastern side of the great state of Iowa, right along the mighty Mississippi River. As always, my name is Andy Sokolovich, the president and CEO of Grow Clinton, joined in the studio by Jenny Home. Jenny, what's happening?
I feel like something's watching me.
Oh, would it be that new alien head that's popping out of the wall here in the studio?
I love it.
Yeah, I find these things on the internet, and I just think, I love adding stuff to the studio because it makes it feel cool. You know?
It's a treat for me to come in here half the time because I don't know what's new. Show up.
You can play a game like What's New in the Studio.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's so much fun. But I came in to see this. I had to send it out to all my friends and family to show them.
I don't know where I picked that up off the online. It was like $8, but I thought this would be cool. So we have little headphones on the alien head, and then we have our hat display for all those members that come in and bring us hats and swag. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Let's name him.
What do you want to name him?
Let's think on it.
Clint. Grow Clinton. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If anybody's listening and has a name for our alien head, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear what you have in mind. Just send Jenny an email, jhome@growclinton.com.
Do it. I'll be waiting.
Yeah. Great show today, Jenny. But before we get into it, let's talk about our sponsors.
Yes, definitely.
Mike Check is presented by the one, the only Citizens First Bank, making your finances and our audio crystal clear. These new mics for the Grow Clinton podcast are proudly sponsored by the bank that's always in tune with our community. Find them at gocfb.bank. Banking as it should be with Citizens First Bank. Member FDIC. AdCraft Printwear and Sully Sports. AdCraft has been in the custom apparel game since 1974. Over the years, AdCraft has grown from a small family-run business serving the Clinton, Iowa community to a cutting-edge operation that serves teams and companies all over the United States. For all of your custom printwear needs, adcraftusa.com. Again, adcraftusa.com. Drove past the building they're constructing there on Mill Creek last night, Jenny, and they had the lights on in the new Sully Sports section.
I know.
I see all the shelving is put up. It looks very, very nice.
It's going to be a thing.
Be sure to check that out once they're open. Miles Communications, the OG sponsor of the Grow Clinton podcast. That's right, folks. Miles powers the Grow Clinton podcast with wicked fast, high-speed internet, ensuring that our broadcast is crisp, clear, and consistent. Miles offers residential and commercial high-speed services as well as television and telephone options to meet your home or company's communication needs. If they're not in your neck of the woods, they are on their way. More information, milestelephone.com. Again, that's milestelephone.com. LyondellBasell, they're joining us as a sponsor. They're a leader in the global chemical industry, guided by the purpose of creating solutions for everyday sustainable living. Lyondell, also known LYB, is one of the world's largest producers of polymers and leader in polyolefin technologies. The Clinton complex here produces resins used to create a variety of products like household industrial bottles, pressure pipes, food packaging, PEX tubing, outdoor durable goods, construction, roofing, and materials. Lyondell is committed to being a responsible, engaged neighbor in the Clinton community where they operate through volunteerism, charitable giving, partnerships with local organizations like Grow Clinton. LYB aims to strengthen communities by supporting education, sustainability, and safety initiatives. LyondellBasell, solutions for a better tomorrow.
Almost everything you touch has something to do with LyondellBasell.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. You can go in the plant and they have a little display there of stuff. I mean, kayaks.
I know.
If you go to a fast food restaurant and you get a large soda or pop, they will give that to you. And if you know the inside of that is a plastic filament, and that actually prevents the liquid from bleeding through the cardboard and then ensuring that your drink doesn't dump everywhere.
I was talking to Joe Hoygas and he was telling me all this stuff. And I'm like, this is like everything I do all day.
Everything.
And it's
Plastics are everywhere.
here.
But you know what's really cool is Lyondell, even though they are a manufacturer of high density, low density polyethylene pellets, they are number one in the country regarding sustainability and recycling. So they invest a lot of corporate dollars to ensure that the products they produce do not end up in the landfill or in the ocean. They are really focused on the recycling side of things. And it's crazy to think that they're a large producer of the plastics, but they're equally as passionate about ensuring that that gets recycled and reused. And
they're always it has actually what we're going to talk to Charlie about. They're all on the same page and they are so positive when you talk to them.
Yep. Yeah. Great company. Charlie Minnick is back in the house today. So we have a little thing called Leadership Unlocked that we do monthly in partnership with Dr. Minnick. And we have our next session coming up on what day is it?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. And this one is referring to leadership engagement, but capturing the hearts and minds and being able to support the actions of your team through inspiration. Dr. Minnick, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Grow Clinton podcast.
Oh, this is what, number 11?
Yeah,
right.
This is 11. Yeah, we started this in January of 25. You offered to do one session a month, and here we are already in November.
Here we are.
I like how you are able to do these topics, and sometimes they seem like huge topics, but by the time we're done talking about it, you have broken down and really interesting.
Yeah, I think things in general have to be. It's easier for breaking it into chunks.
Yes.
It's a little easier to digest, a little easier, because you look at stuff. It's like, what macro? This is big,
overwhelming,
and it is. How do you make organizations grow? And it's big. But if you look at how does the micro fit into the macro?
Yeah,
how do you do all that? And I think that's the hard part, but that's the best part too. Is when you see it all come together, and anything worth doing is doing well, and it's hard and has its challenges and ups and downs. But in the long run, if you made a positive difference in the lives of other people, and you just talked about your sponsors who all do good stuff, and that's what it's all about. How do you do that on a daily basis? And some days we all swing and miss. Yeah, it's part of the deal. But what did you learn? Another day, another chance. Nobody's perfect. So
I like that. Another day, another chance.
Another day, another chance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a deal. Another day, another chance.
So one of the things we're focusing on throughout the duration of this Leadership Unlocked series is leadership engagement, specifically not just telling people what to do because you are in a leadership position, but inspire them to care, critical thinking, and taking purposeful action as part of a team.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. So, like you say, talk about hearts and minds, and which indeed then moves into actions, I think. So, but I think, people have to they're just more committed when they buy into, they're part of the purpose, the mission, one another. Not that it's about, relationships matter. Not that everybody has to be the big buddies or any of that, but I think you can have effective relationships. You care about each other. You want to help everybody be successful. When the little pieces are successful, the big piece becomes more successful. Yeah. So you just have to take care of each other, and it's hard, especially during times of like great change or uncertainty. It can be exhausting to keep. It can be exhausting, but it's all worth it. I think you just talk to people and let them know you care. And I think I try to have meetings again. So I start meeting up. I talked about this earlier, but so we try to talk meetings about, tell me one good thing that's happened to you since the last time we met.
Yeah.
What's one, and then people are like, oh, I mean, if you sometimes it's kind of funny because people have to think, but if you tell me a crappy thing that happened to people, like come up with like 10.
Right.
Like 10. Well, how many you got? No. Yeah. But I think that's what it is. It's just, you just want to connect with people emotionally and that gets into this intrinsic, extrinsic stuff. I mean, intrinsic stuff is the work itself. And it's more, it happens today. I felt good today. We worked together. Extrinsic. So a classic extrinsic is pay, because what happens is you do it now, but you don't get it till later.
Right.
So it's a little bit down the road.
Right.
Whereas intrinsic stuff is about the work you do. It's how you make you feel. It's emotion driven. you made a difference. I mean, that's really what it's. I think that's what it's all about. And people just, they become motivated, become loyal. They're resilient. You have to be resilient. Holy mackerel! Look at our world, boy. If you don't, pay to be resilient.
I just got a call from a young man, a veteran Marine. He called me. He was furloughed as a result of the government shutdown from the arsenal. And his landlord, he rents, his landlord, as soon as he found out that he was getting furloughed, submitted for an eviction. They didn't even have a conversation with them or anything. Talk about a shot in the gut.
Oh my God.
And I don't even know if that's legal, to be honest, but I'm trying to help them out. But it just goes to show you, I mean, anything can happen and really disrupt your plans. One of the coolest things that happened to me in the last 48 hours is I had the opportunity to go to Dubuque, the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation. I sit on the board for the Professional Developers of Iowa, and there's about 13 of us. And one of our icebreakers was, tell me something that you are professionally proud of, and then something you were personally proud of. And that was a great icebreaker because at the end of the day, we really got to know each other as individuals, not just economic development professionals and practitioners. And then, in the evening over breaking bread, we bonded some more. And the next day, the question was posed, what did you learn about one person on this board that you didn't know before we engaged everybody as part of the strategic planning session? And there was a lot of cool things, realizing somebody owns a car dealership and somebody is a professional basketball referee on the side. I mean, it was really cool to have that conversation.
And that's what Charlie's talking about, right? I mean, you get to know people, you can't help but care about them. You know what I mean?
And it's hard to engage people's hearts and minds if you don't know something about them outside of name, rank, and serial number. You have to know what makes people tick, I think. And I always so I have people think about this. So I always ask people these questions when we talk about that. So it's about, I go, think about a time when somebody personally recognized you for outstanding performance. What was the accomplishment? What did the person do or say? How did it make you feel? And why did it mean something to you?
Right.
That's really, and people are like, wow, it is about how it makes people feel. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not so good.
And also, I don't care what anybody says. Maybe there are people who mean it when they say, I don't care about getting recognized.
Everybody
come on.
You may not want to be recognized publicly.
Right. But it feels good.
You care.
Right.
Yeah. I think people need to know they matter at some level.
Right.
And different things for different people. Some people, it is about money a little bit. Some others, it's more things about just that, that thank you. Or there was a survey I did a while back. The most sought after non-monetary thing in organizational life was a sincere thank you.
And that's the thing. I mean, people are so guarded now. How do you break that down and get them to be on the same page?
I think you just have to give people a chance to open up a little bit. And again, maybe we'll talk about this sermon, but so I used to do this. It's called this lifeline exercise. So you get this piece of paper, you just put it on the wall, and people can tell you whatever they want to tell you about their life.
Oh.
You just put it on some tell a lot, some tell a whole lot. I mean, some tell in the middle, some tell not much, but it's just non-threatening because you can tell whatever you want to tell. But it's called Lifeline. You just put it on a piece of paper and you draw different things. And the funny part is, well, how should I do it? It doesn't really matter. It's your story.
It's up to you.
People get so like, how am I supposed to do it? I don't really care how you do it. It's your story. So people would do drawings, or you learn cool things about people at the front end. But the thing is, just not threatening. Tell me what you want, or what you don't want. It's fine. But you get to know people.
Yeah. Bonding as a team.
Yeah, you got to find out what makes people tick. You just got to know what makes people tick.
It's different for everyone.
It is different for everybody.
One of the things we're going to discuss in this upcoming session of Leadership Unlocked happening next Wednesday, what is that, 15th, 16th? 19th of November. If you want to register, it is a free class physically held here at our office, 721 South 2nd Street. If you don't want to put your cheeks in a seat in our conference room, when you register online at growclinton.com, link is available within the show notes. You may participate virtually. You will receive a Microsoft Teams link so you can tune in real time and participate as you were just sitting there. So one of the things that's going to be discussed too, Charlie, is leading by example, providing leaders and aspiring leaders those actionable steps to engage the hearts, minds, and actions of employees, but making sure that they're doing so by embodying the values, vision, and behaviors they want to see within those team members.
And that's the thing. So I'm a firm believer in the leadership world. You cannot not communicate. Pardon my double negative, but everything you do or say communicates value. Things you don't say or don't do communicate value. So I think that's critical from that part. How do you say? How do you behave? What don't you do? What do you do? That communicates what you value in the world. And some people, if they reward bad behavior, guess what? You've communicated that bad behavior is okay.
Well, and also it's like when you have kids, if you think they're not noticing, they are.
Oh, they're paying attention.
They notice.
They pay really close attention. Yeah, it's like, if you don't want Johnny plays in the street, you don't tell him don't play in the street. Well, he's going to keep playing in the street because he thinks it's okay because you're rewarding that bad behavior by not calling him out.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, now both in the uniform as a member of the military to a civilian, that's the one thing that remained constant. If you want to have a dirtbag airman and dress like he's in a potato sack, wear your uniform like that, and that's what they'll turn into. You have back in my day, we were starching our uniforms until we transitioned over to digital print, and we no longer had they were wash and wear, no longer had to starch them. But if you wanted your airmen to look sharp and have nice creases down their chevrons in the front of their pants, you would iron your uniform.
Right.
And it was just, that's how they would learn. And it's just, there's a great series out right now on Netflix called Marines. And it's just Marines. And it's a 4-part series, an hour long per episode. And it follows a group of Marines, some aviators, some machine gunners. You have a commanding officer, an XO. I mean, it's really cool just to show all the levels of rank and structure within the Marine Corps. But a lot of these same messages are repeated, that you are going to lead by example.
And that's what you just said about structure. Now, Charlie, it's probably, what you probably are seeing in there. I was never a Marine. And by the way, I never got to thank you for your service and sacrifice.
Yes, you were welcome.
Thank you. Anyway, the structure of it, you're seeing every level carry out everything. So it has to be fair for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make things equitable. They can't be equal because everybody has different skills, abilities, talents.
Right.
But you want to make it equitable.
Right.
Is what you want to do, where people have promotion opportunities. People have opportunities to use their skill set and their abilities. And that's what the second one talks about. It's like engaging the minds with people. Well, if you want to engage people's minds, give them meaningful work to do. So I think hiring people, to me, it's kind of simple, but not that simple. But I think you hire tough, you give people meaningful work to do that impacts the organization. You get out of their way and you let them do it and help support along the way.
Yeah.
But you got to hire smart to start with.
Right.
But I think, you want people to think deeply about stuff, question assumptions, share ideas. Because if you say you do that, but you don't behave that way, then you're not encouraging people to do that. You just want people who nod, just head nodders.
Yes, men.
Yeah, that's all you want. And but people feel valued for their intellect as well as their effort.
Well, and it creates a safety, kind of a secure environment when everything is, what to expect. What kind of reaction and feedback you're going to get, and you feel safe to.
It goes back to that psychological safety stuff.
Right.
People have to feel open and safe to say what's on their mind, and they have to be. And I tell people it's okay to disagree with me because I don't pretend to have all the answers or all the questions. So please, if we're heading down the right ways, say so. But you want to, it gets their mind gets from compliance to contribution.
I like that.
You get compliance because people just comply because the boss has so much power, they can make your life good or bad based on that power that they have. But it's like innovation, ownership, confidence. You want every seat around the table to know they matter and to do that.
Right.
You can do all kinds of cool things if you let people do that. But you got to communicate that I want to know what you think, not just I'm going to tell you what you think. Beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yep, used to hear that all the time.
That's not a good approach as a rule. So, but you want people, thinking independently, solve problems. And I think choice is a really good thing people could do. So if you give this group this task, here's what it is, here's what you need to accomplish, but I'm going to let you figure out how to do it. We'll check in along the way, but I'm going to let you figure out what do you think as a group is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and there's a place for command and control leadership style. Very strict structure, rank structure. I mean, you're at a time of war. You don't have time to tell your senior officer that you don't agree with them, and here's why. Yeah. And he's not looking to solicit your opinion at that point either. But in many civilian careers where there's not bullets flying, and you're not in public safety or there's not a gun to your head, you can have these conversations. And as a leader, you have to be willing to accept that feedback. You don't have all the ideas. You don't have all the knowledge. Everybody has different backgrounds, like Charlie said, strengths and areas of lesser talent where they can contribute to the overall team. And unless they feel like you are fostering an environment where they can provide that information and feedback to you, void of any fear of repercussion or retaliation, you're doing a good job. In my opinion.
Control is definitely one of the management functions. You have to have controls in life. That's just the way it is. But how do you manage that? Like you said, and I think you just empower people to make decisions. But if you do that, chances are people might make mistakes as well. So hopefully it's not some devastating, that's going to ruin the company. But how do you learn from it? What you learn from it? How do you?
It's just you don't repeat it. One of the analogies I like to use, it's like tension on a timing belt on a car engine. If it has enough elasticity and it has enough give, it will still stay on those wheels and spin and be effective. If it's too loose, it doesn't work at all. If it's too tight, it doesn't work at all. So you got to find that kind of healthy balance where you're providing some wiggle room to allow for functionality, but not being too open to new ideas that the leash is just a million miles long and you have absolutely zero control over the outcomes.
So what do you do, Charlie? I'm sorry. What do you do, Charlie, when, let's say you're in an organization, things are going well, but then people start, not buying it and start being unhappy? How do you get that back to the
I think, first of all, that kind of stuff, that's really a symptom of a problem. It's not the problem.
Okay.
So why is that? There's this Kaizen stuff that if you ask why about 4 or 5 times, you get to the root of the problem.
Right.
We used to be engaged. Well, now we're not. Well, I don't know. The atmosphere has changed. Well, why has the atmosphere changed? Because what you do, if you've ever been too many times, been in meetings and stuff, we talk about the same thing over and over and over and over and over. It's because you tried to fix a symptom of a problem and not the problem. So you just keep going back to the same thing because you never fix the problem. So you got to try to find out, well, why? If people are noticing, well, what's going on? Is it maybe a couple of people having a tough time personally? You just don't know what's driving that change, or that you got to find out what it is.
You got to dig. You got to be a detective sometimes without destroying somebody's personal space.
And even if you tell them, if you care about me, hey, I noticed you seem upset, a little out of whack. Are you okay? Can I help us? That sort of approach. And I'm going, man, what the hell is biting you?
Yeah,
it depends on you. You got to go at it the right way. What's going on? You see, but I think, we want to be creative, but I think we have to think about, somebody told me one time, you want to think outside the box, but inside the circle. The box is new ways to do stuff, but a circle could be organizational values, mission, goal. You can't. So you can go outside this box, but you have to stay inside the circle of, what matters to the organization. You can't do wacky stuff that has, well, that's not who we are.
Yeah.
Then that's way outside the circle. That's probably not helpful. But you want people to rethink, especially in this day and age. And and anywhere you look, it's AI this and it's AI that. Oh my God, it reworks how we do life, I think, guys. I was at a school because we do these accreditation reviews. It's amazing how people are accounting using AI. Everybody's using AI to some level. So how do we embrace this thing? And even in the academic world, how do we work with students and notice that it's a good tool, not just something that people use to cheat to write their papers for them? It's much bigger. How does it help to form thought processes? And, the human side will always need to be there, but how can it help us think about stuff and generate ideas and all that kind of stuff?
In my mind, it enhances speed to market. If you think of it like a product development, if there's for those people that sit there and if they have just the twinkle of a good idea, a spark, but they don't know how to get some, momentum behind it, That's why I love AI is
Right.
it gives me a whole suite of ideas and I go,
Yeah.
wow, that's great. Now I'm really thinking and now I'm doing this and
Yeah.
now I'm doing that. It pulls you out of that rut. So
Yeah.
And
I
It
love
gets you
it.
thinking a little different.
That's the angle to go at it. Like you want to learn. That's
Yeah.
you know, how do you get people invested
Yeah.
in
So you have
wanting
to
to
use
learn
those tools
instead of
that are
just cheating?
available. Yeah, not just a punitive sort of thing, but
Right.
how does it help us to generate ideas? Oh, okay, then you can put your own ideas and spin and personality into it, but it kind of gets you thinking
And that's
Yeah.
a little bit
collaboration. I
different,
mean, when you think about
which
it,
is
yeah.
fine, which is
Yeah.
what it
I
should
love new ideas. I love feedback.
Yeah.
I crave it.
Mhm.
I say that every board meeting is like, what do you think? Are we doing what we're supposed to do? I also really enjoy looking at the things that we do, like our programming and our events,
Yeah.
and putting that through a filter that's made up of our mission, our vision, and our core values. And if
Yeah.
what we are doing does not impact positively our membership, then we're not going to do it. It's a waste of time and it's mission creep. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of things to consider in leadership. Again, we're talking to Dr. Charlie Minnick, our upcoming Leadership Unlocked session. The 11th of 12 sessions
I know.
is coming up next Wednesday, the 19th of November. You can register online at growclinton.com. Again, a direct link to the registration page is within the show notes of this podcast. We will have presenters Dr. Laura Palmer Noone and Dr. Richard Pattenaude.
Pattenaude.
Now,
Close.
can you explain their background?
Yeah,
as well?
so I've known both those. So both of them really have Iowa ties.
Hmm.
Laura now lives in Arizona. She graduated, I believe, from University of Dubuque.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so she's from this area. So she has strong Iowa backgrounds, and they've did a lot of business things. They both were. She was president of University of Phoenix for a while when they had, I don't know, 500,000 students.
Wow.
Yeah, online. Yeah.
Thousands and
That's
thousands.
impressive.
It's a big,
Wow.
yeah, it's a big job. It was a big job, but she's very philanthropic in her things.
Good.
Gives back, is on tons of boards in Phoenix and stuff around here. She's active with the alumni board with UD, and so they have this. But Rich was president of Ashford for a while, and then he before that he was president of the University of Maine system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was the chancellor for the entire system.
And look at this programming that we get at Crow Clinton.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie's bringing it, but wow, that's
there's some,
amazing.
and they just have tons of they've led for-profit, non-for-profit, very public, private, all those type of things.
Well-rounded.
But and sometimes, the organization's different, but in some ways, how you do it is similar.
Yeah. So
People
not
are
only
people. I mean, it's just everybody's a little different, but they'll bring a wealth of knowledge. We'll talk about some things. We'll talk about with them what have they learned when they failed. What are those leadership lessons you learned? But maybe things didn't go so well. How do you balance? And we talked a little bit here today about flexibility and accountability. How do you manage those? You want people to be flexible, but how do you do that kind of stuff as well? So mistakes. What have they learned along the way? How do they challenge high performers, and how do they work with then people who are kind of solid performers? But how do you bring them up a level? How do you manage all those kind of people? Talk about conflict a little bit more. It gets a bad rap some days, but we'll talk more about that, and integrity, all that kind of stuff.
That's
So
important.
we'll talk a lot of those kind of things. We'll see how far we get with this kind of stuff. But they have just a wealth of experience, and so we'll do a panel sort of thing. We'll
Yeah. No, we appreciate
see what they
it,
see what they
Charlie.
have to say, but they just have a wealth of. And the beauty of this whole thing is, as I've asked lots of people, nobody has said no or even hedged on no.
Yeah.
You just ask them, and they're willing to, of course, because they're just good people willing to give back.
That's great.
Well, I think
know
those
what it's all
people-
about. So they just, and then December we'll talk about AI. We'll get more into AI and technology as emerging things in leadership.
Yeah.
How do we do all that?
Oh, we are very thankful, Charlie.
It's been fun.
Appreciate your help
Yeah,
in
it's been
setting
fun.
this up. Again, Leadership Unlocked coming up next Wednesday, November 19th. Again, registration link is in the comments below. You can show up at 2:00 right here at our conference room, or you can participate live virtually via Microsoft Teams. Again, no cost associated with it. Charlie's doing all of this out of the kindness of his own heart and allowing us to leverage his web of contacts and amazing leaders across the country to participate either virtually or in person. So be sure to check that out. Charlie, we're very excited to have you back on the podcast. We look forward to seeing you in December, and then we'll have to talk about what we're going to do beyond that.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like next year. Yeah, and so Rich will be calling in from Maine. Laura will be in Arizona, different parts of the world.
I think that virtual link that we have for this is really popular too. We get a lot of people in person, but it's great that you can, phone in. Phone in.
Phone in, yeah.
Got to use
Call a friend.
Come a long way from the old space phone thing.
Phone a friend.
There had the little green button on it.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
All right, Jen, you got lots going on the remainder of the week. It's Friday. I got my Friday song again.
Yes. We got to have one.
I got to figure it out.
A name for the alien and a Friday song.
We used to do that when I had class on campus. We'd do High Five Fridays.
High five.
It was candy, high fives, and a song.
Nice.
I like all of those things.
That's what we did.
And speaking of that, last night we had a great biz after 5.
Skyline
Center, and Brandon always does Fist Bump Friday. And you talk about an organization where everyone's on board and pushing in the same direction. It's Skyline. That was a great.
It's great.
Biz
It's great
5.
to see people like Leroy.
Love
that guy. Did you see when I walked in? He came up and gave me a big hug.
He loves you.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great guy over there at Skyline. So, all right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Clinton Podcast. If you do not subscribe to the Grow Clinton Podcast, please do so. We are everywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're on iTunes, Amazon. What do I listen to? What is StreamYard, Buzzsprout, you name it. It is out there. Just search Grow Clinton Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you do not miss an episode. If you have any questions or you are a Grow Clinton member and want to be on the podcast as a guest to promote your business, your products, your organization, upcoming events, reach out to Jenny. That's JHOLM, JHOLM @growclinton.com. And she'll set you up with a time and a date where you can come in and be a guest in the Grow Clinton Podcast. It's easy, folks. If we can do it, anybody can do it.
Hey, I got to tell you, we got some good feedback. My Steve, where he works, somebody came up and said, I saw Jenny on a podcast. And he said, oh, did you watch one? And he said, my wife and I watch all of them.
Very nice.
And he said, wow. You like them, huh? And he said, we watched the candidates who were on. That's how we knew who to vote for, because we needed to know what what their platform, how they felt. And he said, but we watch all of them because we like to find out what's going on in the community. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, very good. We always like that feedback. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Until I speak to you again, stay classy, folks. See ya. Thank you for listening to the Grow Clinton Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on all your socials. Until next time, see ya.